when you care about being a human being, a 5D mystic or functional adult cares about knowing how we're made versus the stories that the 4D collective enjoys very much. And so do a lot of other people because of a lot of things, including the fact that they don't actually grow a relationship to their emotional body, and they don't grow a in-depth relationship with feelings once they get to that teenage year. If anybody remembers being a teenager, I know I do. So I'm going to share some stories. And before we get to the stories, I'm going to share some data points, so to speak. So I'll be right back. While trending topics may lead the way, it's explanations that expand it and actually bring about the possibility for a person to transform things that they don't know about. So you're a person, I'm a person, you have an emotional body, I have an emotional body, you have an attachment system, I have an attachment system. And there's a beautiful body of attachment researchers out there that say most people that I've seen online that are in the holistic yoga with the mantles don't know about. And then we have our 4D collective who has all the stories of the spiritual warfare stuff that they're talking about, which is not taking place. But what is taking place is an emotional opportunity to connect to the emotional body. So one attachment researcher, I don't remember if it's category or styles. I think categories are just founding Bowlby, Bowlbyj. Attachment and Loss, Volume 1. Basic books. And it's very important to know the basics. Most people say, oh, I know being human. No, not when they don't know about, there's another beautiful actual addition to our lovely educators. So if people wanted to know about stuff, how it works, they wouldn't use the movies and stereotypes or generalizations. So this one is the review of the book, Disconnected. And I want to read a part of it because I was like, wow. So I have it. I have all these books. Obviously, I'm going to list them in order while I read them away to myself, and then I share the data points with y'all. Disconnected offers a new vision of human nature and a new understanding of human behavior and social problems. Connection is the most essential human trait. It determines our behavior and our level of well-being. Yes, this has been found by the lovely attachment researchers who explain how in our lovely first 2 years of life, as I shared in our short, is where you will either have a very great way of attaching to your own body or not. And attaching to your own body in the sense of being an emotionally active body as well as an empathy active. Instead, what will happen if there's not a secure, safe environment is that your body will stop connecting emotionally because of it not being safe. And until your body learns that it's safe to feel, that it will allow itself to feel again. And guess what happens without awareness as teenagers? I've seen them. I thought my generation might be, just mine, but I saw that no. So do I feel pain when I go through difficult situations or when I remember them? Now, see, here's where a 5D person, when we have like emotions, it's not painful because when we hear the word pain, we think of physical pain and like torture. So emotions are not torture, but that's because we have a relationship with our emotional body. To mention, if there's attachment wounds and childhood trauma, as our lovely Patrick Tiahan, he's a childhood trauma survivor and now therapist. He's healed. He talks about it in the most amazing way, and he has a community. And as he's pointed out, Reiki, great to have for my energy levels, not great or going to clear away my actual history that I am working on or that I work on, because here's where, thank you, Daniel Siegel, the only way you're going to develop secure attachment within your own body and mind is if you can use your right mode of the brain and left mode. When these sensations and feelings, which are going to be destabilizing and or off, because emotional disconnect means that you're actually cut off. So you need to reconnect. But to reconnect means you're going to be awakened to the charged states of you, the 0-1-year-old attached panicky, 3 to 7 shame submissive, freeze of all ages, 11-12 flight, and 14-15-16 fight, or you can call them child parts. And I know that our lovely Sadhguru says, ignore the psychology stuff. Thank you, Sadhguru. He's a spirituality guru. And knowing the psychological stuff can help you know why yoga helps you. Because then you sit in silence, and whatever positions you do with yoga, the positions work your ventral vagal nervous system. So it's toning exercises for what is your mammalian heritage. The sitting in silence helps you to do mindfulness, which then helps you to just sit in your prefrontal cortex and probably to get yourself back into track, to feel safe in your body. And actually, Bessel van der Kolk talks about why yoga is good, because by doing the positions. So I should have said yoga and then mindfulness or the meditation stuff when you're sitting in silence. Staying busy with your body allows your chit-chatter brain not to be active and allows your body and you to be like, oh, my body's safe. So you start to notice that you can be safe with yourself. Now, all those other steps, building emotion regulation skills, that happens with your relationships. And most people experience it in the 4D spectrum of energy vampires, dark auras, twin flames, soulmates, and the saga of what is, to me, personally, teenage land. But I accept I don't have this childhood trauma stuff or attachment wounds. Actually, my body's pretty safe. So is my brain. And so here's why the 5D collective is a group of people that actually are wanting to feel. Those who are aware that they would want to feel. If it's easy and peasy, we always work together on personal development, enlightenment. But if there's more challenges, which will be easily noticeable, how? Because when you get stressed, there's this thing called an inner shame cycle or an outer shame cycle, or really it's just a shame cycle, inner critic, outer critic. And the activities is really what I wanted to get to, the compulsive safety behaviors. Let me run away from a connection and not really think about the fact that I'm hurting another person. Let me gaslight, manipulate. Let me hurt people, and watch movies and keep saying that it's the devil or evil or demons that made me do it, or that there's some entity that is going to come down to earth and take us all over or something like that. Okay, so as a mystic, I love being able to say there's a difference for 5D mystics, which is also why we have paid subscription-based model content for only my 5D mystics, because you know that we're human babies, and yes, the stars are also what we're part of, but we're all in a body, and it's really awesome when you have your emotional body connected, though, which means you're using, so thank you, Daniel Siegel, the right is where you get to deal with unknown uncertainty and all those non-verbal stuff. Left, chit-chatter. Studies have found they work differently. Yeah, but you know what connects them? The corpus callosum, and then you're the leader. You're the consciousness. You're the pure consciousness if you get to get all of those charges that I mentioned before to uncharge. There's your land of equanimity. I learned from a lot of different people that do the trending topics, how they explain it as well. I also learned about the illusion lands that people that are in spirituality talk about, and I would say most of them don't seem to have a recognition of them being still in a codependent type relationship with anything and everything. They want to change the world, so they're martyrs or superiors, or they want to take care of everybody, so they're going to blame themselves if they're foreseeing something didn't go the way they planned. So these are all the 0-1, I'm going to attach, and then I'm going to feel safe, and I'm going to feel soothed. And really what it is I'm special. So emotionally fulfilled, mentally fulfilled. There's a lot of different ways I can look at this. So none of these are equations of good or bad. In fact, they're equations of people living in their imagination land. However, the difference is when you have mental and emotional mastery and physical mastery, that's you, the person, you become a functional adult who has an integrated brain, all hands on deck. The left, right, they work together. The default mode network, which is where we will be scanning unless we feel safe in our body. The default mode network is downregulated when you have integration of the brain and your ventral vagal nervous system is on. And you're in your optimized social engagement system with people and functional adults. That's where equanimity comes. And that's where our Zen masters are. So the 5D mystic and or functional adult in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, our relationships, our entire oversoul, it's awesome. It's a playground, not a training ground. People who do spirituality, they do training ground. That word means something very different. Because see, if you already say training, I'm like, oh, I don't want to train with my loved ones. What is it, work? But if you don't have fun with your emotions, yes, because guess what happens when they say, I'm going to poke you and say, I think you're a piece of garbage. Now, that is where the adaptive children, lo and behold, rigid, harsh, unforgiving, you are a rude dickwad, whatever it is, and there's your disconnect. And there's a lot of movies that allow all of that to be happening. It's called projection, also low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive, and boundaries that are not really boundaries, as well as the whole power of an adaptive child. So the reality is people talk about knowing what it's like to be a mystic or a functional adult or a human, but really being a human when you're mentally and emotionally, that's awesome. So the heaven in the body that Sadhguru talks about, and I love Sadhguru. He's my spirituality guru. And I have other individuals like my lovely Jesus, which isn't about spirituality, but he stands as a person who knows how to say, forgive them for they do not know. And he is all of unconditional love. And that's because he walked with the people, talked with the people. And in fact, there is no casting away or casting stones. So tune in for more. We mix in human, spiritual, and spirituality. Have a great day.